Good afternoon. I'm Bill Seach with Stratton Mortgage, and today we're doing a show for associates of Stratton Mortgage, and that means people we work with in and around the real estate market. Today I have Parris Hampton from CRT Realty and Molly Stillwell from Genesis Title.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Do
Thank
you
you
guys
very
like our
much.
office?
It's beautiful.
Pretty cool back here, right?
Yeah, it's really
Absolutely.
nice.
Whoever wants to come visit can come visit any time. But just to start off a little bit, and I'll start with Molly. Tell us a little bit about your business and how long you've been around and stuff like that, and where you're based out of and all that good stuff.
Sure. Genesis Title Agency is, we're in our 10-year anniversary this year.
Wow.
Okay.
And we are based out of Central Ohio, where
Baller.
our office is, what you say.
Baller.
Balling.
So we're located in Gahanna, but we actually do business in 46 states.
Really?
So we are national, but all of it we can originate out of Gahanna, Ohio.
So if someone wants to buy a house in Florida, you can do it
Yep, we're
from
able
here.
to do the title work.
You can
Yes.
actually close a loan here and buy your dream house down in the Keys or somewhere.
Yes, or we can close them down in Florida as well.
Right,
Yep,
okay.
we close all over.
So is that remote, or do you have an office there? Or what is it?
Remote.
Remote. Okay.
Yep, we had the one function out of the one office. And also we do business residential, commercial, work with for sale
Really?
by owners.
Commercial. I didn't know that.
Lenders, realtors, yep. Do
Okay.
the whole gamut.
Okay. And 10 years.
10 years.
Did you have an anniversary party?
We're going to.
All right.
We are planning that. You will be
I wanna
invited.
come.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I've been in the business 28 years, actually. I started out as a closer, closing loans for another title company many years ago.
Okay.
And then I also have been in the on the lending side. I was a loan officer for a couple different mortgage companies that were in town a while ago. And then I also sold real estate for a couple different real
So you've seen all the good and bad
I
parts,
have.
right?
I have. And here I am in the title. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And you're located in Gahanna,
Yes.
right? Okay. So hometown lenders, small company, right?
Yep, we are. We will close anywhere, though. Even so, like I said, we're licensed in 46 states, but we can literally close anywhere. We close overseas. We have, especially with the way the world is now today and how small technically it is. There's people traveling all the time internationally. We do close internationally. I've closed in a prison before, at a truck stop, at a McDonald's off the freeway. We
Yeah.
make it happen. We make it happen.
Right. Right. I remember back in the day we had they had the policy no phone, no loan. Do you remember that?
No.
If you didn't have a phone as a borrower, they wouldn't close your mortgage. So you can get all the way to the closing process, all the way through the mortgage process,
Right.
get to the closing, and if your phone got turned off for some reason, forget it. You weren't getting a loan.
Wow.
So this actually happened to me. It's pretty funny. I had a guy in Marion, Ohio. I'm not going to say his name, but I'll never forget his name. His phone got turned off. So, and I worked at a company over here in Dublin. I was just new in the business, and I'm like, man, I really want to close this loan, right? So I said, how can I get a hold of this guy without driving to Marion, right?
Yeah.
So I called Domino's Pizza and sent him a pizza with a note on the box. Your loan's ready to close.
That is
Can-
a great idea.
can you be here Wednesday? And his first name was Delbert. I'll never forget him. So he didn't call me back, didn't do anything. But Wednesday afternoon, he showed up, suit and tie, to close
Oh
his
my
loan.
gosh,
So
that's amazing.
it was pretty funny.
There's
so.
so many great stories,
Way to
you
think
know.
outside the box.
Thinking outside the box, exactly. So, Paris, I understand you're relatively new to the business.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
how long you been doing it?
You see, I got my real estate license in 2017. So,
Okay.
yeah, I'm fairly new, fresh new face in the
Okay.
business.
Okay. And background-wise, what's your background prior to that? What did you used to do?
Well, before I got into real estate, I was a postman, a
Really?
mailman, yes.
Okay.
For a long, long time for a Blacklick post office. So,
Okay.
I thought real estate would be challenging, so I wanted to jump into real estate because I've been a mailman for a long time, and I'm just bored with that now. So
Gotcha.
switch it up a little bit.
Yeah. So in and around Blacklick. Okay.
Yes.
So you know the area, you know the houses, you know the values, and that's a
Yes.
good thing, right?
Yes.
The name of your company. Well, you work for CRT
CRT
Realtors.
Realtors.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And where's your office located?
Well, we're also located in Gahanna, And we also have a building recently built in Westerville off of Sunbury.
Okay.
So that's the new office up there. So
Okay. And how many agents do you guys have?
I would like to say 40 plus.
Yeah,
I'm not sure exactly.
Really?
Yeah, like 40 plus.
Wow.
They're growing pretty much over there, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Do you have any special insight to us on what to watch for in terms of, did you have any strange deals where you had to, like I had one agent tell me they went into the house and there was a rat in the refrigerator and stuff like that. So I always like hearing those controversial stories because what's good and bad, if you
Yes,
send,
yes.
Well,
I worked with a few investors, and we were in one house, and we opened a cabinet, and it was just like full of old, like nasty roaches, just
Really?
all filled in the cabinet. Only thing that's interesting about this house was she didn't buy the house. It was a lockbox on top of like in the basement, and we opened the lockbox up and had like all these documents in there, but it wasn't anything worth value. So.
Right. You thought you found a treasure.
Yeah, we was hoping. We opened it up. We was like, oh yeah. Oh, nothing's there. So.
Gotcha. In terms of now, are you a buyer's agent or are you a listing agent? Have you gotten into the listing side of it yet? I know a lot of guys, obviously, they want listings too, but when people get newer into the business, they start out as a buyer agent. And what do you prefer to do? Do you like it that way? Do you like, what I mean?
Well, I prefer to be a listing agent, although I've been on both sides of the fence. But I prefer to do listings because it's marketing and listing. You have your sign out there, so you get a lot of leads from having your sign out. Yes,
yeah.
I made a lot of leads from just having my sign out, listing a couple of properties. So
sure,
I prefer listing for sure.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's I actually have signs also that go out. And they go next to agents, like you have your CRT sign there, and then I have my Stratton mortgage sign there, because we do like my sign actually says we have a 1% down program, which is kind of unheard of, and it's really cool because you've heard of OFA loans and things like that. And I'm sure you've done a lot with that, but our 1% down plan is like a 2% free money grant from the lender, which is kind of unheard of, and you only need a 620 score to get it. So that's like what I put on my sign. Call me with the 1% down. Now everybody doesn't get it. You can't make so much money and all this other stuff, but it's pretty high. It's like $76,000 or something. It has to be less than. Okay. Just like a home ready or a home possible plan, and they qualify you like that, but they give you 2 free points.
Okay. Wow. That's great.
Yeah. So if you get some seller paid closing costs, which you're used to dealing with a lot, I know, and then you get the 2 free points. Next thing I had a guy come to the table with $47.
Wow. Oh man, I know he's happy.
Right.
That's nice.
So, and it turns out he was 19 years old. He had a high school diploma and 2 pay stubs.
Okay.
So that's the kind of outside the box thinking we do around here, and I'm sure you do too.
Yes.
And you have to sometimes,
Right.
But moving forward, I get into story time, and I apologize for that. But in terms of
The housing market.
Oh, yeah, the housing market. Let's talk about that for a minute. You got some statistics for me? Go ahead.
Well, I was just thinking with Parris, that's a really good first year, really, to have eight homes in 1 year. And I don't know how much marketing you did, but I think I know probably not a whole lot, correct?
Yes. I did a few marketing things, but more like free marketing. You're just starting out. You can't spend a lot of money.
Right. Yeah.
Well, marketing first starting out, but I did a lot on social media though.
But our housing market is so nice. It's so robust right now in Central Ohio, and they were just saying last year that it's still not a lot of homes. There's still not a lot of homes on the market, not a lot of inventory, but and so the values had gone up again last year. The single family homes went up like 7.7%, and then condos went up 8% in the value and the price of the homes. But,
that's kind of a problem we run into a lot, actually, and you may have run into this too. But let's say, we have right now there's about 3,400 houses for sale in Central Ohio. Okay, so let's say we have one across the river here in Dublin. We're in Dublin, by the way, and it's listed for $400,000. Mm-hmm. Well, Your buyer comes in and offers 405.
Yes.
It's listed at 400 though,
Hmm.
and your buyer comes in and offers 410. Next thing you know, the bid they're going to accept is 430. But guess what? It didn't appraise for
Right.
430.
That's right.
Right.
So
You're
what
not getting
happens?
430.
So what happens at that point? You know, have you run into that?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so
the
in-
appraisal is the key to everything.
Right.
The key
It-
to the whole deal.
It actually, and I have we're actually, I'll get into another thing about that, but that drives me a little bit crazy because I understand it's a free world and free marketplace, but an appraisal still says on there it's an opinion of value.
Yes.
And that's why pretty soon appraisals are going to go away.
No
Yeah.
way.
I don't know if it's going to be pretty soon. It could be like the space shuttle, like 2025 or something, but
what?
Maybe more of an online type thing.
it's going to
or-
come down. Yeah, we have a lender right now that I can go on there and type in the address and all the comps come up and it's pretty close. Okay.
Okay.
And there may even be, I mean, we're seeing appraisal waivers right now with bigger down payments. So if you have 20%
Okay.
down, you don't even need an
You need an
appraisal.
appraisal.
Usually,
Mhm.
you know, credit's good, all that good stuff. But
Or if you're paying cash, right? You don't need.
if
it.
you're paying cash, you don't
Yeah.
need it. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's
There,
that
we see
doesn't-
a lot of cash deals right
Yes.
now.
Cash
Yeah.
deals are-
Well, that's because
I
you
know
got all
you
those
don't like 'em.
you got all those investors, right?
Right.
We love cash deals. They go so fast.
But just so back to my point is, you know, if you're buying a house with 3% down, 5% down, or whatever, the appraisal has to come in no matter how you build it up. So
Right.
then
Right.
going through this market change where there's only 3,500 houses, you know, I've had one guy bid on 17 different houses and he keeps
Yeah.
losing, but he
Yes.
doesn't
Yeah.
understand.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But you've been through it, so you
I
can
have,
Yeah.
most
you can kind
definitely.
of push him to it. You know.
Yes.
And he just didn't understand it. You can't make a lower offer.
You can.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So then
Yeah.
what happens, you know, if the house does sell for 430, okay, then they have to come up with cash
Right.
Yes.
over the appraised value
Absolutely.
or lower the price.
Lower price.
Right.
House. Yes.
So it's a pretty bad game.
They're saying that there was more homes on the market last 4 months of last year, so hopefully that'll help us out in that area. You know, so
Sure.
the inventory will be a little higher,
Yeah, inventory's
which
very low.
hopefully would break a little bit of that high value in the homes.
Right.
I mean, it's great. It can be great for the sellers.
It's a seller's
but-
market.
Yeah, but it's, I'm sure, a rat race for the buyers. I mean,
It is.
Right.
We
It's
have-
tough for the buyers.
Right.
It's really tough.
Yeah, they're losing out a lot. I worked with plenty of clients who've been looking for a house for a few months, and they just keep losing out on the bids.
Okay.
yeah.
Did any of your lenders give you a 1% down program?
Oh, they have not, sir. I trust me. My ears are open. I'm like, oh, okay, I like that.
Yeah, because people, the main misconception is people just don't know.
Mhm.
They don't know if
Oh,
they have a
sure.
diploma and 2
Right.
pesos, they can buy a house. I brought up Dylan earlier to you when we were talking. I mean, he's 19 years old. He's bought and sold 5 houses already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Well, he's 20 now,
It is.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Still great.
right, and I mean, they do a little rehab, fix them up, and sell them, and
Right.
you know, transactions, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's all about. Molly, I do have a question for you. Did you ever go up against a? Obviously, I know you probably did, and you probably did too. If a newer house, new build, I should say, did you ever go up against them saying that you have to use that builder's title company? And I know you get that little
Yeah,
smile on
it's
your
very
face because
frustrating. Well, especially with the new laws, you know, the TRID laws, where you know, all the disclosures have to be given, and you know, all these things. But yes, we have come up against a local, very large builder that they were giving like I'm trying to think of the value of the home. The value might have been $250, I forget. And they were giving like $4,000 credit for title if you go with our title insurance company, and $3,500 if you go with our lender. Well, the buyer was a really good friend of mine, and he said, I'm not doing it. And I mean, I read his contract and I thought, man, they're allowed to honor this. They're allowed to give this type of,
steering.
that's almost like
Man,
an inducement to
That's
me.
It
that's
is.
steering, right?
Yes.
And it's,
So yeah, we have, but I don't go up against, we don't have a lot of it, but we have. I mean, we've had a few of them.
right.
Very frustrating.
So I know she said that was a good friend of yours.
Mhm.
It
Yes.
happened to me with my cousin's house.
Okay.
Okay, and they, you know, my cousin, I obviously was going to get him the best thing I could find. You know, I'm a broker, so I can get any, you know, whatever rate it's going to find, I can find it. But, you know, they said, oh, we'll give him a $4,000 credit, just like you said. But the house is jacked up 12 grand.
Yeah, exactly.
They didn't say that to me, but
Right.
after I got it
Well,
appraised,
sure.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah, they're not going to miss out on all that money.
right. So it was list price was 289, and the appraisal came at 273. Right. So what happens now? Either A, we got to come with cash,
Or you're gonna lower that price.
or they got to lower the price.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I just think it's crazy how the state is letting them manipulate.
The federal government. So the whole, I'm drawing a blank, but what's it called? The committee that,
The Federal Housing Authority, or
where you could, I
You're
can't think of
talking
it. It's not RESPA because there's RESPA laws, but the committee that I think Obama formed and put our county leader on it. He was head of it. Oh my goodness, I drew a blank on it. Anyway, they formed this committee, and it was really one man, and they really aren't.
oh, Dodd-Frank is that what you're talking about?
No, that's the law.
Right.
But anyhow, they. I mean, I've inquired on a few things and never had gotten any responses from
Right.
them. It's still in place.
Well, when we do the loan applications and all that, we do a form called an anti-steering form, and it's part of our documents that
That's
go out first to the lender. And well, it's a regulated form, and it has to show the best interest rate available that day, the best interest rate with the lowest cost available that day, and then another option, and then another option. Well, why are we being held accountable to do that, but the builders are not? I think it's a total bullcrap.
Yeah,
Right.
know.
I agree.
Have you run into a new build like that yet, or no?
I haven't, but I've heard stories of that though.
Yeah.
I heard that before
Right.
though. Yeah.
Right. So, anyways,
Yeah.
turns
it's
out I
tough.
saved my cousin $12,000 on the house.
Yeah, that's
Hey.
nice.
So I made them lower the price to $277. They came up with a little bit extra. Actually, they used the earnest money to cover the difference, but
All right.
pretty messed up deal. But again, we had to use the builder title company too. That's
Yeah.
just it. I believe that's steering. And
Yeah, it's tough.
so
Tough to compete with that.
so anyways, got off on a tangent there, and I apologize. So the housing market, we know we're down a little bit now. They're getting built up. Don't expect Parris, you can't expect a buyer. When you're searching for a house, you got to tell them right up front. Hey, you know what I mean? You got to make a bid that's going to be worth it, right?
The listing price or higher
Yeah.
every time. Don't go below the listing price.
Now,
'cause
unless-
you're not going to win.
Unless you go and do, a little bit of a house that needs work,
Right.
or you find something,
Investments, yes.
you find a foreclosure, you find one kind of those deals. Have you done any of those yet? or-
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, and I've done a lot of stuff with that where the buyer, obviously goes to a share sale or something like that, and they buy the place, and then they rehab it, fix it up, and sell it.
Right.
And the seller paid closing costs come into play and all that good stuff. But it's a good business, and you should
Absolutely.
really, we need to get you into that too, right?
Yes. I'm on my way.
So I think we covered pretty much a lot of things today. This is kind of our first podcast, and we just want to get out and introduce everybody and associates of Stratton Mortgage. And do you have anything else for us today, Molly?
No,
You wanna add?
We want to talk a little bit about title insurance and the value of it. A lot of people don't understand what title insurance is, and
I don't. Tell me.
So people do a lot to secure their peace of mind when they purchase a home, and they
lock the doors at night.
Right, deadbolt locks. They'll get alarm systems.
Right.
All that kind of stuff, and that's great. But another extension to that is title insurance, and what title insurance does is it basically insures the past of the property. So the one thing that people don't realize about title insurance and the difference between title insurance premium and like a homeowner's insurance premium, you're not paying on title insurance over time every month or every year. You pay one time at the closing. And what it does is it insures against issues that somebody may face, like forgery on deeds in the past, undiscovered heirs of the property, heirs meaning people who had a right to a piece of the property. It insures against undisclosed wills. So if there were wills that weren't disclosed, and somebody, like I said, has rights to the property. If there's any easements
Does
on
a
the
will
property,
have to be recorded now?
No, but it helps us obviously because when we're
Sure.
searching the property, but we come across properties a lot of time where people have not recorded their wills, and that
Right.
makes our work harder. But
Yeah, I think that they just don't know. They
yeah,
have to record it, right?
Right.
To put it
But
in
it is
the-
best. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's public, then it becomes public notice.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the title insurance will protect people from the past of the property. A lot
Okay.
of things that people don't think about, that could
Right.
come up that, maybe there was a lien that wasn't found out at closing. And what happens is the homeowner can go to their title insurance company, and the title insurance company, if you did purchase title insurance, will go ahead and take care of that financially. So you don't have this $100,000 judgment, that was never, if it was never seen or taken, brought to light at the closing and the seller didn't pay it off.
I had one like that.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
title
the guy.
insurance
It was a
underwriter takes
rental
care of it.
property. It was a rental property on the east side, and I don't know if you know. I can't say his name, but
Mhm.
anyways, there was the guy owned the house, and it turns up he's like, yeah, we have 2 mortgages on the place, which is fine, but underneath there was like 7 tax liens and like 4 other things and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So, and you guys have to
So
verify
that's our
all that
job.
stuff,
Yep,
right?
that's called
Absolutely.
title clearing. So we dig into the past and pull, bring to light, so to speak, and get the payoffs, and
Sure.
and we ensure a clear title.
Is it
Clear
hard to
and
track down
marketable.
all that stuff, or is it all like
Um,
digital? And
We rely on, no, it's not all digital, believe it or not. We wish it was all online, but we rely on outside sources to do that. So they will search it, send it to us, and what we do, what's called abstract it. So we review it and, put it all together.
okay,
And then our end product is the title insurance policy. So that is my product at the end after closing. You get
How
a
much
title
does it
insurance
cost?
policy.
How much title?
It depends on it's rated per 1,000 and it
Okay.
varies in states and counties.
Mm.
And it depends on a refinance or a purchase and then what type of policy you get. But
Okay.
like around $4 or $5 per thousand, $4 or $5 dollars per thousand.
Okay.
Yeah.
that
an
used to
amount
be
and
the
a
norm
purchase
for
price.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know you said earlier you did 48 states.
46.
46. Okay. So can you search, like, let's say I have a property in West Virginia. Can you do a search on that, like right on your computer where you see what the liens are and stuff like that?
It depends if their county's online.
Okay.
We do that a lot of times. I won't insure it
Sure.
because like I said, we have abstractors in West Virginia who will do that. West Virginia is actually an attorney state, so they
Oh, it
will
is.
do that.
Okay.
They will search that and send it to us, and it will then be insured by them, even by
Okay.
their search. Yeah.
Well, I'm not in West Virginia. I mean, I'm Stratton Mortgage is basically Central Ohio, believe it or not. After all these years, we've been in, when I worked for other companies, we've been in, a lot of states and stuff like that. But now it's all Central Ohio, purchase and
Right.
stuff
Oh
like that.
yeah,
I'm trying
this
to
Great.
purchase is hot.
keeping it close. But I was curious because I had a friend of mine that asked about, someone had passed away and they asked about is there liens on the property because obviously the family wants to divvy up
Yeah.
the place, and I was just curious if it was online like that.
I'm not sure. I can double check for you.
Okay. And are most of the states online now? Because I mean, the mortgage industry is moving towards the digital age. I don't know, and
Yeah.
and it has
Absolutely.
been for a while. I mean,
So it's not necessarily by state. We deal by county.
okay.
So it just
okay.
depends on the county in the particular state.
Cool.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. I don't know what that noise was. But it's okay, right?
I heard it.
All right. Well, anything else you want to add about that?
No.
No?
I'm good. Yeah, that was perfect.
Okay.
Great.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having
And
us.
if you see us online, you're going to see a phone number at the bottom. If you need help, you want to call us and ask us any questions you may have. CRT Realtors,
Yes, sir.
right? And Genesis Title. I'm, of course, Bill Seach with Stratton Mortgage, and we'll see you next time. Have a
Thank
great
you.
day.
Thanks.
Thank you.